set that so I can hear my own theme song. Are we live? Is it working? YouTube just came up and said, hey, live streaming is not available right now. Let's see. I'll adjust the microphone there. Can you guys hear me? It looks like you guys can hear me. Okay. Babe is there. Hey, Phil. Hey, Liberty. Hey, Ann. Hey, Dave. Hey, Christopher. Hey, Stephanie. Good to see everybody. I assume Marcy's watching too. She's always here. My volumes are low. Let me pump that up just a little bit. What is going on with the volumes here? Yeah, YouTube. I started broadcasting and then YouTube says live streaming is not available right now. And yet here I am. So let's get that closer. Not important what I say. Yeah, so I'm in a good mood, kids. Welcome aboard. This is the live stream. This is the live stream. I'm just going to stop using the ends of my word. Start a sentence and just not finish the sen. I am your Kevinly Father, Kevin Williams. This is what we do. We're going to take a look at a Trump interview. This is the amazing thing, and this is what brings me great joy. It's dark in my room. Is it? Apparently it is. The judges just gave you a special noise. That's the noise my watch makes when I get a notification. Hey, Robert. There's Marcy. So welcome aboard, everybody. We will yell truth to power and or whisper it. That's the special late night ASMR Trump session. Trump was on WABC talking with Rita Cosby. Did I say Crosby? Did I call her Rita Crosby in my tweets? Hold on. I think I said Crosby. This is, I don't know who she is. So I called her Crosby. So my apologies, Rita. I'm used to Sidney Crosby, so I just read Crosby. I have a reading thing. No one ever figured it out because I wouldn't let anyone test me as a kid. But I am not a good readder. So that's what happens there. I'm just going to delete that because that is incorrect information. And you know how I hate to get incorrect information out there. Here's what makes me happy. Hi, Robert. Did I say hi to Robert already? Okay. Hold on. Robert says something important here. Heavy day for me today. I had to fly down to California to see my mom in the hospital. Her liver has failed and she's not doing well. I'm so sorry, Robert. I hope that she comes through. I hope that she's not suffering too much. Keep us updated on that. So if you pray, please offer prayers in Robert's direction. I lost my mom several years ago, and it is quite a blow. But there were many times when we thought Mom was going to check out, and she kept on trucking. Which was weird, too, because we had a minivan. But she would trade the minivan in, come back with a pickup truck, and just go trucking back and forth. It was a scary time. But now we miss her. Staying with her little sis for a few days to see how things go. Where are you, Robert? What area of California are you in? Here's the thing. This is what brings me great joy, besides all of you folks. This is a Trump interview on WABC Radio, Talk Radio New York, the voice of New York, WABC. I think it's New York. I used to know all the stations in New York a long time ago. This interview is from 5 days ago. I had no idea it even existed. That's how irrelevant Trump has become. I didn't see it mentioned in any newsletter, in any fundraising email, on any television show, on any radio broadcast. I didn't see it talked about on Twitter. Nobody cares what Donald Trump has to say. So we're going to take a look at what Donald Trump has to say. That's all I got. Hey, producer Joanna, good to see you. Jennifer, if I haven't said hi, Jennifer. Let's get going in the interview. I don't want to take too long because I still have some stuff to get done today. Got my taxes in. It's tax day, everybody. So if you haven't done your taxes, stop watching right now. Go do your taxes. I use a program called Free Tax USA. It is no charge, and I've used it for years. Everything's remembered for my past few years. freetaxusa.com. I think. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly. Hold on, let me just make sure that I get that address right in case you haven't done your taxes. Yeah, it's always free, freetaxusa.com. Then for my state taxes, it also handles my state taxes here in California. And to file my state taxes, it charges me $14.99. That's where they make their money. But the federal tax is free. And when I used to live in Washington, because Washington doesn't have a state tax, this is like the first year was last year that I ever paid to file my own taxes. What's the drinking word? Fraud. We'll go back to fraud. I don't know what Trump says in this interview. Thanks to Marcy for sending the interview my way. Had Marcy not mentioned the interview to me and linked to it, I would have no idea this even happened. What a difference! What a difference 2021 is from 2020. And I'm vaccinated. I can go anywhere without my mask. Not yet in the state of California, but scientifically speaking, logically speaking, I don't have to wear my mask anymore. I'm good. I cannot contract it for the most part. If I do contract it, my viral load will be very low. It is unlikely that I will experience any symptoms. I mathematically will not get hospitalized, certainly out of the realm of possibilities that I will die. And because my viral load is so low, what we know from the recent study in Catalonia is that I can't spread it to anybody. So, go ahead and take off your mask if you want to. There's a whole bunch of people saying they're going to keep wearing them because we won't know who's vaccinated and who's not. That's not going to stop anyone from lying. It's not. You wearing your mask isn't going to make the other guy go like, oh, I was going to lie about being vaccinated, but since they're wearing a mask, I'm going to put on my... People are weird. If someone asks me to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. It's just a surgical mask. I get in the car sometimes and drive for a couple of miles and realize, oh yeah, I've got my mask on. Only if it's fogging up my sunglasses. It's that light. Masks are people are just insanely funny about masks. Did I miss, did Robert tell us where he is in California? Did I miss that? Let me go back up on my chat and I don't see it. Hi Yoshi, good to see you. Wendy, good to see you. It's getting crowded in here. Let's get right to it. So anyway, scientifically, we're fine. We don't have to wear the mask if you're vaccinated, fully vaccinated. If you're not fully vaccinated, absolutely wear your mask. Unfortunately, it's not going to do much good. So there's the quandary. This is a gambit by the CDC, but it is a gambit. I don't know if it's going to work. We can get more into that later. Robert, you're in Redlands? Hold on. Hi, Rod. Hold on. I'm going to go to the window. And you know what? You can't see me anyway. Redlands is that way. And if you guys remember, to my mother, everything was that way. Because that way was the garage. And you had to go to the garage to take the car to go anywhere. That was back when she was trucking.
Well, thank you, Rita.
It's great to talk with you, Mr. President. And boy, let's get right to it. There are so many huge developments that have just happened.
You know what, Stephanie? I can't turn up my volume. I don't know. Hold on. Let's see if there's any settings. Hold on. You know what I can do? I'm going to move my keyboard. I'm going to move the microphone right in front of me. Bah, bah, bah. Now, that's not great. Hold on. I'll do what I can here. I aim to please. I'm a people pleaser, which always gets me in trouble. She's super loud. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take her down. And we'll compromise. Give me a second to find her audio. Desktop audio. Okay, now I'm going to play a little bit of her and see if she gets up to the -20 range like me.
Just a few hours ago,
nope.
President Biden announced that anyone who is fully vaccinated does not...
Okay, so now we should be about the same volume. Feel free to adjust your volumes, turn me up, and that she should not I'm not going to get technical on it, but this is right now the best I can do. And again, I don't know why YouTube is still telling me that I can't live stream right now, and yet here you all are. Okay. So that's what I can do right now, guys. And I don't want to shout at you. But as long as you guys can hear her, I think we'll be good. If you're listening on your phone, headphones is all I can suggest. Still demonetized, no word, nothing from YouTube. And it's been since February 5th. February 4th, whatever it was. Yeah, still demonetized, which is fine. You guys, in fact, I'm not making any money. I've got my unemployment coming in, so that's a bonus. So I'm okay, guys.
Not have to wear a mask for the most part. What was your reaction to that? Was
right
it
away,
bittersweet to...
Hold on. I think she failed to mention that you have to be fully vaccinated here. Hold on. Because that is prominent in the media, and I can't believe people say it's just so confusing. Are we supposed to wear the mask? Are we not? If you're fully vaccinated, no, you don't have to wear the mask. That's what the CDC recommends, but they don't make a law on that. Your governors in your states and sometimes the legislatures are responsible for telling you whether or not you have to wear a mask. And then private businesses can also say, for example, they've been saying it for years, no shirt, no shoes, no service, no mask, no service. That's fine. A private business has the right to do that. Federal, I don't know if Biden has rescinded his federal order yet. Biden was wearing a mask at the Ford factory today. He doesn't need to, but at Ford, that's the policy. When in Rome, let's go back on her here. It's going to be a clicking every time I touch the keyboard just because, hold on, I think I can fix that. I fixed it. Okay. I think we're good, folks. So 12 minutes and 48 seconds into the broadcast, we got it together. Super Friends, Rescue Rangers, Super Friends. Jennifer says, I've had 2 spinal headaches previously, which was an indication that I probably have another, and I did. Ouch, don't. Hi, LP. Connecticut mask mandate ends tomorrow. Okay, well, enjoy, Liberty. Go ahead and take your mask off. It's like I just don't get it. If someone asks you to keep your mask on, keep your mask on. But otherwise, there's no point to it. Well, the anti-mask... No. What we need to stress is, every time we say this, if you're fully vaccinated, you can take off your mask. If you're not fully vaccinated, keep your mask on. The sad part is, yes, there are going to be a small portion of the population who takes it off anyway, and they are going to infect others. Which is why, if you're immunocompromised and you can't get the vaccine, stay away from people, keep it up, which is kind of like good advice anyway, because people suck.
That anyone who is fully vaccinated does not have to wear a mask for the most part. What was your reaction to that? Was it Biden announced developments that have just happened? Just a few hours ago, President Biden announced that anyone who is fully vaccinated does not have to wear a mask.
I missed that the first time. My bad. Rita Cosby said it correctly.
For the most part. What was your reaction to that? Was it bittersweet to watch it? Was it too late coming, do you think?
Well, it's taken a long time, and it's frankly surprising that he did it at all. It could have been done a long time ago.
Did you think the fact that, like as you're saying, that he did take a while? A lot of people were saying, wait, the science is showing, the facts are showing. Why do you think he waited so long?
Actually, it was just last week that the facts were showing. Article in the Lancet about Catalonia, another Israeli study that had come out just since the beginning of May, and then weighing all of those weighing all of those findings, the CDC made the decision. But it wasn't all of a sudden, too. It took them a couple of weeks, but a lot sooner, no. There's going to be breakthrough infections happening. The vaccines are only 90% 90% effective, but right now, even against the Indian strain, they are showing very, very high efficacy. And again, when you get it, what the Catalonia study showed us is that in order to pass the virus, you have to have a certain level of viral load. This is something we've suspected from the beginning. The Catalonia study proved it. When you're vaccinated, even if you do get sick, even if you're symptomatic, you've got about 1/4 of the viral load at most. That's the most they've been able to find in somebody. And so they suspect that the odds of you actually passing it to somebody else are extremely low. And a mask is not going to protect you, by the way, unless you have an N95, unless you have a respirator, that's going to protect you. The surgical mask, all that stuff, really not all that effective. Maybe a little bit, but again, if you're vaccinated, you're okay.
Then.
Well, you can only ask him that question, but the vaccine works, and it's been really a great accomplishment of the Trump administration and myself. We pushed the FDA like they've never been pushed before, Rita, and
the FDA does not make vaccines.
You can only ask really them why they took so long, and when they paused the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, that was a very bad thing because it put out the wrong signal. But look, it's a step, and they made the step, and it was late, but it was finally made, and that's a good thing.
What was it like for you, Mr. President, as you talk about Operation Warp Speed? You did so much with these efforts to get the vaccines, unprecedented. Was it bittersweet in a way, too, to watch what's been happening of late for you?
No, I want to see millions of people saved, not only in this country, but all over the world, Rita. We came up with the vaccine, and it would have taken 5 years, probably wouldn't have come up with it at all. I pushed the FDA very hard. I wouldn't say they exactly like me too much, but that's okay. But we pushed them harder than they've ever been pushed, and they approved it, and they came up with it, and the companies came up with it. And
yeah, the companies came up with it. He corrected himself. The FDA did not come up with a vaccine. It's not the way it works.
Frankly, I can only be very happy about it. Most people
No, and he's still Mr. President. You address former presidents as Mr. President. That's correct. There's nothing wrong with that.
Understand we were the ones that did it. And now as people become vaccinated and, you develop...
Just like if you met Hillary Clinton, you would say, Madam Secretary.
Develop herd immunity, and that's a good thing. And that's something that we've all been hearing about for a long time. And it's happening, and we had a lot to do with it. We also pushed it out. I did something which was maybe the greatest bet ever made in history, in a sense, because I bought billions and billions of dollars of the vaccine before it was approved and before they knew for sure that it was going to work. We had an idea, but we didn't know for sure. And I bought billions. You wouldn't have had your vaccines until October of this year, so nobody would have been vaccinated. I bought them before it was approved. And that was a big bet. But, we saved tens of millions of lives. And had I not done that, that was a risky move in a sense, because who knew? Maybe it wouldn't have worked. But we really had no choice. So we bought billions of dollars of vaccines.
Yeah. No, that Liberty makes a good point. Don't take my advice. Don't take someone's advice on YouTube in a chat room or whatever. If you have doubts about whether you should take your mask off or not, talk to your doctor. Unless they're a crazy person. If they're Trump's former doctor, first off, he's dead. Why are you talking to him? Secondly, doctors are not perfect. I've learned that from experience. That's another story. But if you have your doubts, go ahead and wear your mask. You're not hurting anybody by wearing your mask.
Quite a bit long before we knew it was going to work, but we'd had an idea.
Do you also now urge people, and especially children as young as 12, to get the vaccine, Mr. President? Do you think that this will incentivize them, and would you urge them all to do it?
Well, I recommend it. I do, and certainly, I guess they call it the Trump vaccine, and so I certainly would. And
okay,
I would. I'd like to urge everybody to get it. It's been safe and it's been totally effective, just about. And it's something that I think people should do. But I also...
Why was that not out there? Why is that not being played on all the stations? That is the most robust endorsement of the vaccine Trump has made so far.
I believe if they don't want to do it, you can't force them to do it. But we've developed really...
No, nobody in the government is talking about forcing people to get vaccines.
A tremendous vaccine in a short period of time. We've bought it. It's ready, and now it's very available.
Everyone just calls it the vaccine. I really haven't... Just the vaccine. But sure, Trump vaccine, just like the smallpox vaccine was for smallpox, the Trump vaccine is for Trump's coronavirus. Yeah.
So I would certainly urge them to get it, yes.
And everybody, we are talking live to former President Donald Trump here on 77 WABC. Mr. President, do you think the fact that President Biden, as you feel, took a long time to come to this moment where he actually walked out in the White House just a little bit ago without a mask, everybody was surprised about that moment. Do you believe that this sort of delayed policy was a huge mistake and also hurt the economy, hurt a lot of things?
Well, I think the closures hurt. If you look at Florida, if you look at Texas, if you look at certain states, all run by Republicans, they were much more open, and some were totally open, and they did much better medically and from the standpoint.
They did not. Both Texas and Florida, the two states that he mentioned, had more cases per capita than a state like California. They did better than the early states like New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, etc., because we didn't understand the virus, not at all yet. They got the later waves, just like California. If Florida had the equivalent population of California, they would have 180,000 more cases. Not really better. And their economies have turned out to be fairly even in terms of growth, loss, jobs.
Of life and death, they did much better. And illness,
they didn't.
Itself, much better than these closed states when you look at New York and various other places.
Well, right. New York got it right at the very beginning. They got hammered with one of the first strains of the virus.
So it's been pretty amazing when you think of it. But places like Florida and the very much.
Yeah, you've said Florida now 3 times.
Much Texas, and I could
Texas
name a lot
too.
of them.
Yeah.
South Dakota.
South Dakota did an absolutely terrible job. Even though they got hit with the virus very late in the game because they're in the Midwest, well, North, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, the Dakotas were 1 and 2 in terms of doing a bad job with the virus cases per capita. At one point, South Dakota was number 6 in deaths, even though by the time the virus came to South Dakota en masse, we had learned a lot about the virus. South Dakota, yeah, Kristi Noem did an absolutely atrocious job. Did nothing about the virus.
A lot of places they did very well, and they were open or at least pretty open, and in some cases completely open.
And you were pushing for that also yourself when you were in the White House. Do you feel a bit of "I told you so" now?
Well, I feel good that we made the right decision. We made a lot of good decisions. We got no good publicity on it. The publicity itself wasn't good because, you can't get a fair shake from the media because it's corrupt and very dishonest.
Really not what she was asking.
Unbelievably dishonest, like it was with the election, like it was with a lot of things. So, we certainly didn't get great PR, but actually we did a phenomenal job. Everyone's cupboard was bare. The states were bare. The federal government was bare. We didn't have...
Not true. Not true. We've talked about this before. We have video of him saying that we had 17,000 ventilators, etc.
Equipment. We didn't have gowns. We didn't have ventilators.
We did.
We didn't have any.
We did have ventilators.
And within a short period of time...
I am being harmful. Being very harmful.
I was able to get things done like, people were amazed, actually. And every governor was thrilled and happy, and we have them on voice. We have them because we had meetings with them every month, sometimes every week, but every month. And they were thrilled with the job we did. Everyone, Republican and Democrat. Now, of course, then they go before the press and they don't say the same thing they said in the rooms. But we did a great job, except with public relations. We did not a good job with that because no matter what job we did, it wouldn't matter. We wouldn't get good press.
Do you feel, though, if you were still president, that this moment of people...
you guys all remember when he threatened Jay Inslee and Governor Whitmer of Michigan? Jay Inslee, Washington, Governor Whitmer of Michigan, saying he wasn't going to send them supplies unless they were nice to Mike Pence. All the governors were super happy, though.
Walking without a mask on.
That's the first time he's talked about the governors in a while where he didn't say that one day he'll tell you who were the good governors and the not so good governors.
That are fully vaccinated would have happened sooner.
Well, I think once you get the vaccine, it's a much different ball game. You're safe, and I think it's a lot better. I think that could have been broadcast louder and stronger. but I think it's a lot better. And when
Why again with the vaccine? Why aren't we listening to that on every single station? That should be the lead story. It's all about herd immunity right now, guys. Somebody made a point earlier that we've got the different variants possible. We could end up with a super variant that is a breakthrough variant, which renders the vaccine almost useless. It could happen. It's unlikely, but it could happen, and it will happen eventually if we let the virus do its thing, which is why we've got to get to herd immunity. We've got to get enough people vaccinated so the virus has no more place to reproduce. I'll take the virus. I've been vaccinated. When it gets to me, it's going to go into my nasal passages. It's going to try and reproduce a little bit. It's not going to be able to do very well. I might get a runny nose, but I'm not going to be able to pass it to anybody else. And while it's trying to create a variant inside me, it's not going to be able to because I'm vaccinated, theoretically.
Fauci first came out, he didn't.
Anyway, why are we not talking about this? I mean, I'm talking about this, but why is the media, the mainstream media, why is it on Fox? Why is it on OAN? Why is it on Newsmax? They should be bragging about the Trump vaccine. Take ownership of it. I don't care. Give him all the credit in the world. Did he have anything to do with the Pfizer vaccine that I got? No. But okay.
Didn't want anyone to wear a mask.
He did order some of them. So but in the development, no.
He said it was bad to wear a mask. And then all of a sudden he talked about wearing 1, 2, 3. Let's get a lot of masks and wear them.
No.
We had a lot of. I didn't follow it's interesting. I didn't follow his directives much, and I turned out to be right in virtually.
Dude, you got COVID. In the most protected bubble on the planet, you got COVID.
All cases. So it was very interesting.
I was going to say, do you feel that today, too, with this announcement, from the CDC? Do you feel it just confirms what?
Cujo, hi, Cujo, by the way. Hi, Tracy. She may be nodding to her co-host there or to an engineer. They could be giving her notes, etc., or saying something like, okay, 2 minutes or whatever, and she's nodding, letting them know that she may not be agreeing with the president here. She's just being a radio host, and that's how it works.
What you were saying all along.
Well, I knew that before today, but, they were a little bit late, and in some cases they were a lot late with other things, and with this, I would say. But, look, I'm not looking for credit. I'm not looking for anything. I just want to save lives.
All he does is look for credit. He just called it the Trump vaccine.
We saved millions of lives all over the world, and that's the thing that makes me happy. This could have been like the Spanish flu. This is so, you talk about the transmittability of this. It's so contagious. Nobody's ever seen anything like this.
There are many, many, many diseases that are more contagious than COVID-19.
It's like you can look at somebody, and this could have been a Spanish flu. As you know, they had the Spanish flu in
1917?
17, yep.
18.
Nope, not 17.
1917, where people say as many.
That's now, as far as I know, that's 102 references to 1917, all of which are wrong.
As 100 million people died. I think without the vaccine, that would have happened here, too.
How would you rate President Biden's handling of the vaccine?
Well, I think he just took over what we did. We distributed it. We had many, we were doing millions of distributions and shots, jabs, as they call it. We were doing many.
The British call them jabs.
Many.
No one in the States calls it a jab.
Millions long before he took office, including him, by the way. We did him, and then he said he's working on a vaccine or something. He didn't realize he got shot. I guess he got the jab. But the fact is that they took over our program. We had the military do it. It was logistically incredible.
Biden got the jab. Biden got his jab. Biden got the jab and immediately gave Trump credit. The administration of Operation Warp Speed. Here's Biden.
The administration deserves some credit getting this off the ground with Operation Warp Speed.
There you go. Within a minute of getting the vaccine, Biden gave Trump credit. Could have been a minute and 12 seconds. I don't know. I haven't counted it. Back to Trump.
how it worked. And then he took over, and they continued the same. I think that they did a bad thing in terms of selling the vaccine, because somehow everything having to do with the mask and all of the different things they did, including the pause with Johnson & Johnson, that hurt the ability to get people to want to get a shot.
So would you tell everybody listening right now, former President Trump, that, yes, go get the vaccine?
I gotta say, so far, I'm really liking this Rita Cosby. I do, seriously. She is trying to get it out of him. This is now, I think, the third time, at least the second time, that she's trying to get out of him, tell people to get the vaccine. Thank you, Rita. I'm sorry I got your name wrong. I've deleted the tweet. But she's on my good side right now. Regardless of political opinions, the most important thing right now is that we get enough people vaccinated to get to a theoretical herd immunity. Otherwise, we're going to be doing this for the rest of our lives.
Well, I would. I think it's a good thing, and it's easy to get. We made millions and millions of doses, and it's easy to get. It works, and I would recommend it, certainly. But I also say, you have your freedoms, and you do what you have to do. There are some people that are against it for a lot of reasons, I guess, a lot of reasons that they have. But I would recommend.
Oh, reasons that they have. Okay, then.
Recommend it, absolutely. I mean, we were the ones that did it, and I'm very proud of it. And I think we saved tens of millions of lives worldwide.
Are you
just say billions? Just say billions.
You're frustrated, President Trump, when you talk about, because Operation Warp Speed was a huge success, and you were at the helm of that, and there doesn't seem to be any appreciation from this president of those efforts, of your efforts.
I just showed it. Okay, Rita, you're now leaning towards my bad side right now. I just showed where Biden gave him credit immediately. Yeah, but you know what? As he got in office and discovered that there were 20 million doses that were supposed to be there that just weren't there, there were a lot of problems. But yes, he did say Operation Warp Speed deserves some credit.
Are you surprised you don't get credit for anything?
I mean, apart from the credit he got from Biden, yeah.
Well, a lot of bad things are happening now. The open borders are killing our country.
We don't have open borders, but the Republicans keep saying that we have open borders. And so you know what gets broadcast down in Honduras and Nicaragua and El Salvador? President Trump saying that we have open borders.
Tens of thousands of people are pouring in. The wall, which could have been finished almost immediately, it started 2.5 years into my administration because we were fighting lawsuits. We had many lawsuits that we ended up winning. And the wall was almost completed, and then they stopped building it the first day that he was there. I don't know what that was all about, because it works. Now I understand.
Well, no, it doesn't work. We've all seen footage of toddlers being dropped over the wall. Also, a $5 ladder can clear the wall. You actually, what I've seen one down at the border. These ladders, they're just the hooks. You've seen them. I mean, they're like escape ladders, sometimes fire ladders, emergency ladders, but basically it's just a metal chain with hooks on both sides, and you just crawl up the hooks. You don't even need a real ladder. Technically, that's a real ladder. I've got that clip somewhere. This is Trump talking about when he owns himself. Let's see if I actually have it available on this computer. I don't. Where he says, you know what? We should watch. We're going to watch it. Give me a second here. I'm going to play him.
Then they're going to start building it again. But it could have been finished almost immediately. It was ready to be completed and closed up and sealed, and it would have been great. But now they have to start a whole process. And
it was less than 500 miles at the end of it, and he had said many times we need at least 1,000 miles. So it was not even half completed by his own standards.
It's going to cost a lot of money, a lot more money. Ours was ready to be done. The contracts were all done, and the material was on site. You see it sitting there still. The material was all there. It was very sad that.
Okay, this is from last week tonight. I'm going to jump ahead here just a little bit, and here we go. This is Donald Trump telling you how to get over the wall that is impossible to get over.
So you take precast plank. It comes 30 feet long, 40 feet long, 50 feet long. There's no ladder going over that. If they ever get up there, they're in trouble because there's no way to get down. Maybe a rope.
Yeah, maybe a rope.
That wasn't done. That would have had a big impact. But at least they've now finally admitted that they're going to do it. I guess, more than 100 days late. But
Oh, thank you, Laura.
it's too bad. And the pipeline, you look at the pipeline, 48,000 jobs. So many different things.
Not 48,000 jobs, 48,000 temporary positions, many of which just were tertiary jobs. That's my own word, by the way.
I mean, it could have been done. And
38 permanent positions is what the pipeline had. 38 permanent positions. We can't even fill the jobs we have right now. There are now 8.2 million open jobs in the United States. That is a really, really good time to be a worker.
now you take a look at Israel and you take a look at what's going on with other nations. It's a lot of bad things are happening for our country.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Trump solved the Middle East crisis. He's nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. The Abraham Accords solved the whole thing. Long-term, lasting peace in the Middle East. That's what Trump gave us. Right?
Let me ask you, President Trump, are you, when you look at sort of how America has changed, and you talk about so many of these crises that President Biden is facing right now, how do you rate his leadership? And do you feel his policies are to blame for a number of these crises we're talking about?
Well, they're self-created. I mean, the border was the best it has ever been. And you look at the border that we had, and again, a lot of it was that we built almost 500 miles of wall.
Hi, at random. Somebody block at random.
But the border was the best that it's ever been, by not even close. And they just took everything and just destroyed it in literally a matter of days. And now you have caravans coming up, loaded up with tens of thousands of people in some cases. And
does he think the caravans are actual vans? It's people on foot for the most part. Sometimes they're on train. Sometimes they're in cars. They also take boats. Caravans loaded up.
They're pouring into our country. It's crazy. And you have killers. You have...
Right. This is what you were saying throughout your entire presidency, which was the reason that we needed the wall. Until the last year when COVID happened in the United States and people were like, I'm not going there.
Rapists.
So good job doing the Trump vaccine.
You have drug dealers. You have a lot of bad people coming.
And some of them, I assume, are good people.
Coming in. And it's a very sad thing for our country to watch and to see. We stopped a lot of the drugs coming in because when we sealed up the border, that helped this country with drugs. But now they're coming in at a level that they've never come in before. They've never had anything like what's happening right now. We had it sealed, and relatively speaking, it was doing great in every way, including the distribution of drugs.
So how big of a crisis is it, do you think, at the border right now? Do you believe it is a big national security crisis? Ted Cruz even went so far just a few hours ago saying that Vice President Harris basically it's a dereliction of duty because she's supposed to be overseeing the border. What's your reaction to what's happening and how big of a...
Just so you know, all of that was complete nonsense. According to the CDC, in the 12 months ending in May 2020, this is barely into the virus, by the way, which we don't have the stats on yet because they come out in May, so we haven't really gotten to that point yet. But according to the CDC, in the 12 months ending in May 2020, the highest number of overdose deaths ever recorded in a 12-month period happened under Donald Trump. This is before the virus, and all stats point towards more drug overdoses happening during coronavirus. I mean, that was Trump's argument many, many times, why we need to open the schools, because otherwise the kids are going to get that heroin, people.
Crisis is this for America, what's happening at the border?
Oh, it's a tremendous crisis, and we're going to destroy our country, and we are taking in people and criminals in many cases that shouldn't be allowed to come in, and they're coming into our country, and, some very, very bad people, and it's a tremendous crisis, and they don't want to use that word, as you know, Rita, but this is
No, Biden used that word. He called it a crisis.
A tremendous crisis for our country.
You know, you bring
Hi,
up the
Heather.
point also, President Trump, that they don't want to use the word crisis. Do you believe that this administration is tone deaf and sort of just unaware and just trying to hope these
But Biden did use the word crisis.
issues are going to go away, whether it's that?
Well, I mean, the crisis at the border was one of overcrowding for the children coming across the border, the unaccompanied minors. That's almost been taken care of. The number of days has gone from the average number of days over 10 to less than 3 that the kids spend in actual CBP, Customs and Border Patrol custody. And then now they're being dispersed to the HHS, etc., the agencies that should be responsible for making sure these kids are put into a safe environment. So, yes, there are convention centers. For example, San Diego Convention Center houses a whole bunch of unaccompanied minors. The issues are being addressed. FEMA was called in right away. The issues are being addressed. Yes, are there a lot of people coming over? Yes, but Biden doesn't have any control over that. You know what the real issue is? It's that the Republicans keep saying that Biden doesn't send anybody back and the borders are open, and that is what the coyotes are advertising down in Central America. Come on up. They're not sending anybody back, but they are. They are sending tens of thousands of people back. They're expelling them immediately when they get processed. It's the unaccompanied minors that get to stay without a problem. Sometimes families get to stay. Families are not being separated. But the unaccompanied minors do get to stay, which, by the way, was exactly the same under the Trump administration. We, as a country, have never refused entry status to unaccompanied minors because we're not Satan. Unaccompanied minors were never sent back to wait in Mexico. That never happened, even under Trump. Now, the Trump regime created almost 1,000 orphans. There are still almost 500 of them out there. The Biden administration and different charitable organizations are working hard to reunite all those kids with their parents or some sort of family. But we created orphans. Trump created orphans.
Whether it's gas prices, whether it's, you know, what's happening in Israel, it just seems a very sort of disconnected feeling. Do you feel that way?
Well, a lot of people think and say that they want them because they want the votes, but they cheat on the votes anyway. They don't need people because they do it a different way. They just do ballot drops and lots of other things, as you just witnessed in the 2020 election. They can do that.
What question is he answering? Hold on, let's go back. What did she ask him?
Otherwise, they don't need the people. I just want to say,
whether it's that, whether it's gas, of just
country.
You know, you bring up the point also, President Trump, that they don't want to use the word crisis. Do you believe that this administration is tone deaf and sort of just unaware and just trying to hope these issues are going to go away, whether it's that, whether it's gas prices, whether it's, you know, what's happening in Israel? It just seems a very sort of disconnected feeling. Do you feel that way?
Well, a lot of people think and say that they want them because they want the votes, but they cheat on the votes anyway.
What? A lot of people are saying they want them and they want the votes. The question was, is Biden disconnected? What?
They don't need people because they do it a different way. They just do ballot drops and lots of other things, as you just witnessed in the 2020 election.
Am I missing something, guys? Did she ask him about voter fraud or something like that? Or was the question about Biden being disconnected?
They can do that. Otherwise, they don't need the people. I just think it's incompetence. Nobody can be happy with what's happening at our border. I don't care whether you're liberal or whether you're...
They don't need the people? Is he talking about the illegal immigrants voting? What is he talking about?
Conservative, whether you're Democrat, Republican, nobody can be happy. I don't believe that this is what they want. And now they've lost control. And by the way, it's not easy to just turn it off. You just can't go back immediately to what I was doing. That was a real trudge. That was very hard to get. I got the Triangle countries and, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. I got the Triangle countries to do things that they've never done before. I cut off money to them, and now the money's flowing back into them at levels that we've never seen. I don't know why they did that.
Not true.
Without a deal. but it's very sad when you look at what's going on, because we had it at the best level we've ever had it, and now it's no good.
Again, not true.
How would you rate President Trump? How would you rate what you're seeing now from the Biden administration?
Why does she keep asking him for a rating? He's just going to answer something about fraud.
And how they're handling the border and overall leadership in general. How would you describe Biden's leadership?
Well, the border gets an F. That's easy. And overall, we're becoming a socialist country. So, that's no good. And it will fail, because all socialist countries fail. And it'll fail. It's just a question of how badly. And they're doing things that Bernie Sanders can't believe, and just signing everything. And, we have a real lack of leadership. It's a very...
Just signing everything. Do you have any specific examples of that?
It's very... it's actually crazy to watch. You look at some of the things, they're no good.
It is crazy to watch.
Good. And they do them anyway. So it's a very bad situation, as you know better than most, Rita.
And
It's always better than most. You know better than anybody.
President Trump and everybody, we're talking to the 45th President of the United States, President Trump, here live on 77 WABC. What grade? You mentioned leadership.
What grade? Here it is. Same question. The same question is now the third time she's asking for a rating. F on the border. We know that.
An F. Is that what grade would you give President Biden? Just overall.
Hey, Jane.
Well, I don't want to do that. I don't think that's fair.
He doesn't want to give him a grade. What? Who is this? This is a joke caller. This is a prank caller to the radio station. Is this Crank Anchors?
I'm very unhappy for the country when I look at what's happening. And now you're going to have inflation. You see what's going on with with a lot of different businesses, a lot of different things, and employment, and the employment numbers are just not where they should be. And they've ended certain regulations, rules and regulations, which I did. I did the biggest.
Whoa. You were all about ending regulations. So now you're going after Biden for ending regulations?
Tax cut in history, the biggest regulation cut in history. And I think the regulation cut was more important than the tax cut. And now they're putting some of those regulations, which are ridiculous to put on, but they're putting them back on.
Oh, so they're putting regulations back on by cutting them.
So it's, it can be turned around, but it'll take a period of time to turn them around. We were in such good position, and now we're not in good position.
Well, that's why so many people are.
We're not in good position. We were the best beneficiaries, and now we're just not beneficiaries. We were in the best position, and now we're just not in the best position.
Looking at President Trump and seeing, boy, how different the world is, and numbers and overseas.
Yeah, it's very different.
Numbers.
You talked about
very different place.
It is.
Yeah.
You talked about the economy too, and I want to hit
a much better place. I've played hockey twice this year. Way better place.
On the point that a number of businesses, particularly small businesses right now, are having trouble hiring.
I dropped the puck at a Kings game. Okay, it wasn't actually at a Kings game. It was virtually. But that's kind of cool. Huh? You tell me this country isn't better. Goddamn right.
Hiring people. And they're almost competing against the federal government because the federal government is giving the stimulus checks. How deeply concerned are you as you touch on the thought of inflation? Do you think we are headed there? And how concerned are you or where we're headed with this economy?
Well, I like people getting the checks. I thought it was good. And frankly, I'm okay with that because we went through a lot with the China virus, and we went through a lot. And China should have to pay us for that. It's what they've done. I don't think they did it on purpose, but, they may have. And something should happen. It's just ridiculous what they've done to the world by allowing that to escape, that horrible virus to escape. So, it's not going to happen through Biden, I can tell you that.
Let me ask you, we just have a few minutes left of your time, Mr. President. I want to make sure real quick I get to a couple topics. Everybody, we are talking to the 45th President of the United States, President Donald Trump, here live on 77 WABC. Mr. President, let me ask you real quick about the pipeline, because obviously that's a huge issue. We know that this president canceled the Keystone Pipeline in his first day. Obviously, it was a cyber hack, but was the fact that a hack coming in, shutting down a pipeline, causing such devastating effects to the East Coast of America, and it will still for a few days, even though it looks like it's back up, but it's going to take a while.
LP, are you here? Is all the gas back there?
Does that...
I haven't, I watched a little bit of Fox and Friends this morning, and they were not railing on the whole gas shortage. Are we done with that now, that crisis?
That reinforce your policy of a reliance on oil and gas versus going to green energy, where they're talking about? Is that
right? If you go to green energy, you don't have to worry about the oil pipelines. Yeah, I didn't run out of gas. Of course, I use hydrogen, but I do have a gas car as well, and I'm in California. Anyway, 16% of the states suffered some sort of shortage of gas.
Does that send a message of how important, and also that the Biden team is sort of disconnected from the needs of real Americans and how we function?
Yeah. Well, the green is not nearly powerful enough to power up our factories.
Not true.
And it's extraordinarily expensive, many, many, many times more expensive than...
It's actually responsible for the fastest growing job market in the United States. And green energy in the long run is a lot cheaper, but who thinks in the long run?
What we had been using, especially natural gas, which is really good and environmentally friendly. And, so compared to what we had, and
natural gas is not environmentally friendly. It is friendlier than coal. Just like, hey, that rapist has been a great addition to the family compared to that murderer we had last week.
What they're talking about, it will destroy our...
Someone's going to clip out just that. The rapist has been a good, and that's going to kill my run for Senate.
Country. You're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to power up these massive factories that we want.
I can never run for Senate in California. I'm a white, straight male. I could never... Okay, someone's going to take that last part about me being a white, straight male, and they're going to take that clip, and that's why I can't run for Senate in California.
And that, in some cases, we're building right now because of my administration. So... to watch that and to watch what they're doing in terms of energy. We were energy independent, and now we'll shortly not be energy independent.
We are not energy independent. We still export energy. It's a very, very complicated system. It's all intertangled with international markets. We do import oil from other countries. It's a much, much bigger issue than that. We do produce now more British thermal units than we take in, but it is not at all an independence of energy at all. Millions and billions of barrels of oil flow into this country.
And your gas prices are going up at a level that rarely has anyone seen that before. I was down to less than $2, and now they're way up and going up higher.
So what would you say to the...
I mean, at some point, gas will go up higher, sure, and then it'll go down, then it'll come higher again, and that's the way gas markets work. He got it down to as low as Obama had at one point.
Buying it from Saudi Arabia. We'll be buying it from the Middle East. We'll be buying it from Russia. We'll be buying it from all the people that we didn't have to buy it from. It's crazy, and we have so much. I got ANWR approved in Alaska all the way back to past Ronald Reagan. The presidents couldn't get it done. I got it approved. But now with these policies they're putting in, it's absolute madness. We were energy independent, and now, soon, very shortly, we won't be.
How does that make you feel as, the former president of this country, to watch what's happening in your mind?
Well, not good. I'd like to see, not for me, but for the country, you'd like to see energy independence has always been a big thing. I got it done for the first time ever. We were told we didn't need anybody's energy, and all of a sudden they end the leases, they end so many things, and we will...
Oh my God! Louisiana's paying $2.72 for gas. Mississippi $2.72. Missouri $2.75. Texas $2.75. Arkansas $2.76. Oklahoma. Minnesota's only paying $2.83 a gallon. Wow! You guys are so lucky. I get hydrogen. It's free. Anyway, you guys outside of California can't do that.
Very shortly not be energy independent. So it's not about me. It's about the country. This is so good for our country. And energy prices were so low. It's sort of incredible, Rita. I will tell you, incredible.
Let me ask you, President Trump, Israel, real quick. What a stunning change. A year ago, they were signing historic peace accords at the White House, the Abraham Accords, and now it looks like they are on the brink of war. Do you believe...
Hold on. National gas price shot above $3 for the first time in 6 years. So that did happen. Keep in mind, cyber hackers shut down the biggest pipeline in the country. So yeah, gas prices are going to go creep up above 304. I'll figure out what the highest national price was under Trump.
That President Biden's policies contributed to this, and what are your thoughts about some of the comments that have been coming also from people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and also Ilhan Omar? I don't know if you saw what she said. She basically said that Israel is terrorism, is committing terrorism. It's really stunning. What are your reactions to that?
Trump, the national average got up to 280, slightly above 280. So it's about 20 cents more than under the highest that Trump had.
The comments are horrible, and it's been happening more and more with Democrats, and they're going to the other side. And incredible.
Of course, in 2020, demand absolutely plummeted because of the virus for gas. So gas did drop in price to when Trump left office, but he did fall just below the lows that Obama got. But after Trump got into office, gas prices went up, and then they went up. So,
if you go back 10 or 15 years, Israel was so protected by Congress, and now Democrats in Congress are no longer protecting Israel, and some are coming out just stone cold against it. So the comments are terrible. I will say this would not have happened. All the things that are happening now would not have happened if I were president. This is happening now because...
Well, maybe you should have made a peace deal with Palestine, the folks who are actually at war with Israel and have been for the last few decades. But what about that? Oh, no, but Bahrain, very good. Actually, it is good, but...
Joe Biden's president, and it's too bad. But he's supposed to be leading this country in so many different ways, and you look at everything's collapsing.
Yeah, there are so many crises, right?
China, you have Russia.
Oh, boy.
You have all of these things that are happening that would never have happened with me.
Let me ask you about Liz Cheney, President Trump, because, of course, she was ousted just yesterday from leadership. Tomorrow, there's going to be an important vote.
You know what's great is he's going to say something about Liz Cheney here, and it's been 5 days since he said it, and I haven't heard a goddamn word out of him. Trump has faded away from the public eye so quickly.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, I know who you back. There's another one, Congressman Chip Roy. First, I want to get your thoughts. What would you say to Liz Cheney? Because she still says she's going to ensure you never get anywhere near the Oval Office again. She's, still saying these comments afterwards.
Well, she's a warmonger. Her family got us, namely her father, but pushed Bush into going into the Middle East. It was the worst and most tragic mistake ever made by our country.
Vietnam was pretty bad.
Millions and millions of people.
Slavery was also not great. The Japanese internment. Attacking Canada was a really bad decision.
Died both sides, and we've spent $9 trillion on that ridiculous quicksand, and it was...
Yeah, Kimchi makes a good point. Solar winds happened over the period of like 18 months during the Trump administration. And it's 18,000 companies or something ridiculous? Yeah. The gas pipeline is a very minor inconvenience compared to what the Russians did to our government.
Nuts, and I've gotten them out just about. They'll be out very shortly. Started a movement that, can't be stopped. Just about this quicksand. And we've spent $9 trillion on that ridiculous quicksand. And it was nuts, and I've gotten them out just about. They'll be out very shortly. Started a movement that, can't be stopped. And fortunately, Biden...
He's talking about withdrawing from Afghanistan, and yes, it can be stopped anytime.
Kept it going and is going to get him out. But it's, 21 years. We're in 21. People keep saying 19. It's not 19. It's now 21 years, and 21 years is...
No, it's 20 years. September 11th was 2001. Just how does he not remember that Al-Qaeda took down the Twin Towers in 1917? Oh, I have such a headache, guys. No idea why.
Far too much. We haven't had
Everyone keeps saying 20 years because it's been 20 years.
a soldier killed in Afghanistan in over a year. That was with me, not a soldier. Well, none of our soldiers have been killed in a year, but we're getting out.
Because of you, sir.
That's a good thing. But her father, got us into that nightmare of the Middle East.
Yeah.
And we have to prepare for other things. When I came in, our military was depleted. Our planes were old, everything. We've rebuilt our entire military, all American made. By the way, we have the best jets in the world, the best equipment in the world. But I did this. We started a Space Force. We did so much. But it's time to get out, and we should have gotten out a long time ago, frankly. Shouldn't have gone in. That would have been even better. Remember, I used to say, don't go in, but keep the oil if you do. Well, we didn't do anything.
No, he said, sure. He was not against the Iraq War. He said, I guess. Does anybody want me to play that? You guys have probably all heard that 1,000 times.
I kept the oil in Syria. We're out of Syria, except I left people to protect the oil. I kept the oil in Syria, but we should have done it in Iraq, but we didn't.
It's a war crime.
Do it because we had...
We didn't do it in Syria either.
Stupid leadership. And pretty much that's the story.
What would you say to Liz Cheney, though?
It's a pretty good story.
Unusual situation we're in right now because we seem to be losing on every front.
So what would you say to Liz Cheney, who has really been just, very...
Boy, she's just hammering the drama. Rita, I'm really glad about the vaccine thing, and I hope every day on your show you're playing him saying, get the vaccine, it's highly effective, it's very safe. Shout out to the Trump vaccine. Do that as much as you can. But and I get drama, conflict, etc. It holds the audience, and you're trying to sell advertising. All of that makes perfect sense. But why?
Staunchly against you, really blasting you, and continues to do so, and says you're not going to be near the White House, if she...
In Rita's defense, it's really hard getting an answer from Trump. Why haven't you asked about the audit? That's what I'm interested to hearing him say. It's New Hampshire.
He has anything to do with it.
Well, look, she's been a loser. She got out by almost unanimous vote.
Okay, but what would you say to her?
I don't know if it's ever even happened before where something like that happened.
It was a voice vote, so we have no idea if it was unanimous or not. He's just saying that like he does with things.
Had virtually nothing to do with it except the party likes me.
They never nobody wrote anything down. It was a voice vote.
I have a very high
all those in favor?
Approval rating in the party, the highest ever, actually higher than Ronald Reagan, which I'm very honored to have. But people see that what I did was right. We had the greatest economy in the world.
We didn't.
The most jobs, 160 million jobs. We never had anything close to that.
Well, the population keeps increasing. You're going to have more people with jobs.
The lowest taxes, the best...
Not true.
The best on regulations, the best on the military, the best on the vets. Look what we did with the vets. I mean, it was amazing what we did with the vets because we
a lot of them died because of COVID because we didn't test.
We had a 93% approval rating with the vets, which...
The VA did, and the VA is always highly rated by the vets. Look, anybody who has health care that actually works is happy that they've got that health care. The vets especially, because they see what the rest of us go through trying to get health care, and they're like, well, good thing I was a vet.
Which, running the VA, that's never happened before. All it was is a mess. So, we did a real job.
That has happened many, many, many times. The VA does very well in polls with the veterans.
And
That's true, Kimchi. Only president in recorded history since we started keeping the stats to have negative job growth. The only president who ever left office with fewer jobs than when he started. President Donald Trump. The only one. There's a historical argument to be made for Herbert Hoover, but I'm not going to make it.
warmonger. She's against me because of the war. She wants to stay and have people have their legs blown off. Wonderful, wonderful people, men and
Liz Cheney wants people to have their legs blown off.
women, and just stay there forever. And we can't do that, not as a nation. It's too expensive in terms of lives and too expensive in terms of money. And it's time we got out. And I brought it down to less than 2,000 people, and the rest are coming out now. And really, it was a freight train that doesn't stop. So we got out, and we got out pretty quickly once we really started the move. But, you know, we were entrenched, and people like Liz Cheney kept us there.
So what would you say to her that she still continues to make comments even after being...
I don't care about her. I mean, I don't care about her. She's a loser, and she's going to lose. You know, in Wyoming, her state was a great state for me, one of my highest, maybe my highest. I won by a tremendous amount. She's down to 9% popularity. Her approval rating is at around 9%.
Fake boo.
The people can't stand her. She's not a person with any personality. She's not a person with any vision other than, you know, let's have soldiers in every...
Marcy, you're correct. And Leslie is also correct that, COVID was responsible for the job market crash in 2020. But if you look at the economy and what happened to the economy in 2020, had we been testing from the beginning, like South Korea and New Zealand and all those other countries that got rid of COVID quite efficiently, knock on wood, we wouldn't have had to deal with that. South Korea's unemployment rate got up to 9% and then came right back down the month later because they realized, like, hey, we're doing well and everybody's cooperating. And nobody argues about masks. They just wear them. There's no mandate to wear a mask. They just wear them because the science makes sense. And when they say, hey, please don't congregate closely together, they don't even have to pass the laws. They don't even have to shut everything down. People just do it. Why? Well, because they don't want to die. Imagine that. Oh, it's not going to kill you. 99%. Here's some Skittles. One of them is poison. Actually, all of them are poison. Sugar is poison. Anyway.
Country everywhere in the world. And frankly, we have a lot of other things we can do with our money.
John Katzimatidis.
And with our lives, by the way. And with our lives.
And John Katzimatidis, of course, who owns 77 WABC, you brought up Space Force. He brought up the idea of a cyber force that should come into play with the pipeline, with what happened.
We have that. Trump fired the head of the cyber agency, CISA, because he said we had the most secure election we've ever had.
Would you think that that's a great idea? Sort of an academy, sort of a West.
Yeah, I did that, is what Trump should answer here.
Point of teaching
well, I
people
do.
cyber.
And John's a very smart guy, and he's a friend of mine, a great person, a supporter. And John is, he's right about that. We actually have a good form of it, but not, in my opinion, not good enough. But
okay, well, you created the department, so go ahead and take credit for it. But not good enough. Probably also true.
John's 100% right. See, that's why he's successful.
See, there you go. And speaking of success.
Well, he's 100% right, except that what he's talking about already exists.
Do you believe that with this vote of Liz Cheney, ousted from leadership, and of course, if Elise Stefanik, who you support, goes in, do you believe that that's a message that this is the party of Trump, that this is the Republican Party of Trump?
Trump-publicans.
Well, look, I'm not looking to have it be the party of Trump. I'm looking to have a great country. I'm looking to have a country that is run by people that know what they're doing, and we had it going, and then they had a fraudulent election, and many people know that. It was a total fraud, and it's coming out. You take a look at Arizona. You take a look at different places that are looking right now, Michigan.
Yes,
look at what's going in Wisconsin. So many different places. Look, even in New Hampshire.
There's
so
New
many
Hampshire.
different places.
New Hampshire is examining the votes in one town, and they are not examining the presidential votes. They just had a weird count. They're like, well, let's do an audit and try and figure out what happened here. But they're not looking at the presidential votes. Trump won the town in New Hampshire, which they're examining.
It's all being found, and so we'll see what happens. But it was a fraudulent election, and people are very unhappy about it. Now look at what's happening with the borders and with all of the other problems that we've got that we should have never had.
And everybody, we are talking live to former President Donald Trump. You know, we opened it up to listeners. Some of these questions, Mr. President, were from listeners because we had so many who wanted to ask you questions. But, of course, the big question, I know you've been asked this.
Marcy, I don't think that it's necessarily an extra good live stream today. It's just that we've got the best liar on today. So please keep letting... This is because of Marcy, guys. Trump is, if nothing else, entertaining. But he is also many other things. So yeah, when he's around, there's the material. Plus, I'm pretty awesome. Thank you.
It's a lot, but I have to ask you is, what are your plans? Are you more likely, as you're seeing what's happening to the country economically, also socially too? There's been so many changes. Are you more apt to say, I'm looking to run in 2024? Is there sort of more of a gut as you're seeing?
Well, I'm loving what I do, and I'm loving the results that we've had. And I think people will be very happy with my decision.
Are you more likely, do you see, as you see things coming apart?
I don't want to say.
He's loving what he does. Play golf and hang out in Mar-a-Lago and occasionally call into a radio show. He doesn't even do a live broadcast. I mean, honestly, it's not that difficult. I'm doing it right now. Seriously, if you're listening, President Trump, I'll help you set it up. I'm vaccinated. I'll come on in. I got the Trump vaccine, which I hear you highly recommend. Let's get the word out. Let's you and me do a show together. Okay? I'll come set it up. I will move to Florida. I have to move anyway. Breaking news. At some point, I need a house. But I have this wonderful outhouse studios, and the proprietors are very nice to me. But it can't last forever, kids. So yeah, I'm moving to Mar-a-Lago. Wait, Florida in the summer? No! Scratch that idea. Guys, where can I be in the summer? Someplace nice and not 200 degrees.
But I will tell you, I've loved the results that we've had. I've done a great job for the American people. They understand that. Got 75 million votes, which no president has ever gotten anywhere near that number. No sitting president has ever gotten anywhere near that number. I don't believe that Biden got anywhere near that number either, by the way.
No, he got way above that number. It was not near. Correct. Judges agree.
But we've done a real job, and I look forward to making people very happy.
Which sounds like someone who's definitely watching things. We've known you.
Maybe I'll move to New England for the summer. My friend John moved out there. John, the old guy that I played tennis with. He lives somewhere in Connecticut. Maybe I'll move to is that Connecticut part of New England? Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. Is Connecticut included in New England? I don't even know. Again, too damn many states. Kevinly Daughter was just out in Boston. That's in Massachusetts. Massachusetts. That's in New England, right? Is Connecticut in New England?
A long time, Mr. President. I would assume you're watching 2022 and then making a decision after that. But if I were...
He's not running.
...worry better, and you know Atlantic City...
I hope I'm wrong. I hope he runs, and I hope that's the end of the Republican Party.
Would you put your bet on you for the next go-round? Do you see anyone else who could lead the party?
Answer, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun together, and we're going to have a lot of fun with the people of your audience, and you have a great audience, and it's great being with them, and they've been very supportive. They've been really...
Connecticut. All right, I'm moving to Connecticut, everybody. Make that announcement. Judges, we're moving to Connecticut. Okay, no bell. No reaction whatsoever from the two of them just got up and left. And they've got pizza. All right, guys. You could probably judge remotely. It's just going to be delayed. So it would be like you guys would say something. You guys in the chat room would say something. And then the judges or somebody on the line. And then there'd be like a 4-second delay until there's a bell. And that's going to get really annoying. We'd hook up like a live feed. We'd get a DSL line or something.
Very supportive. And we'll have a lot of fun together. And we'll do a great job for our country.
That sounds to me like someone I've known a long time who sounds like he's leaning more and more towards it, because we've had so many people from our audience saying, as they...
Look at the guy next to her, so into this. He's on his phone.
I've seen the country falling apart, remembering your...
He's got to be, maybe he's the news guy. I don't even know.
Leadership.
Well, tell them to stay tuned.
Thank you very much. Mr.
That is the essence of Donald Trump. Stay tuned.
President, what an honor to have you here. We are so grateful that you made.
She doesn't look much like her headshot. Maybe it's time for a new headshot, Rita. We all have to do it. I don't look like my headshot. I don't look like I did like a month ago. People are reintroducing themselves to me since I got a haircut.
The time, and thank you so much for being with us here live.
I played tennis this weekend, and I had one of the captain of the other team was calling me another name, and I just didn't bother to correct him. And he's like, okay, and then Richard and Kevin are playing on court 1. Who's Kevin? I'm like, I'm Kevin. Everyone's like, that's Kevin. And he's like, oh, I've been calling you whatever. Let's say Tremaine. I thought you were. I've been calling you Jimmy. This is tennis in the San Gabriel Valley, where I'm the only white guy, and it's all Asians and Hispanics. And so one of my teammates was like, so funny. He's like, who's Kevin? I'm Kevin. That's Kevin. You're Kevin? Oh man, I've been calling you Jimmy. I thought you were Jimmy. And my Asian teammate says, damn, that's racist, Sammy. But yeah, he says, no, I'm sorry. No, I had no problem with what he said. And Sammy's like, I'm sorry, this captain of the other team. He's like, I'm sorry, I've never met you before. He has met me before. And like 3 weeks ago, he met me and asked me what my name was, but I had the long hair. No recognition factor whatsoever. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. No complaints whatsoever, but it's pretty funny the difference between the long hair and the short hair.
On 77 WABC.
Thank you very much, Rita. Thank you
so much. And everybody, you have been listening to President Trump right here on our special coverage. Cats at Night is going to begin right after the break.
All right. That was Rita Cosby's special interview. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Rita Cosby, for doing what you do. And if you're not already doing it, I encourage you to keep playing the sound drop of President Trump saying, get the vaccine, get the vaccine. It's your audience that needs to hear this. I am a shapeshifter. I've shapeshifted. In when I do TV shows, that's pretty much all I do is just transform. But isn't that the secret to acting? Apparently not. I do look quite different with short hair. I look extremely My next door neighbor didn't recognize me at first. He's like, I saw this guy in the driveway, and he was in the trunk of your car, and I thought, did his son come back? I love my neighbor. And you know what? I'm going to have wonderful neighbors in Connecticut. That's my prediction. Ann says, I loved Obama on James Corden. I haven't watched it. Was that recently, Ann? Let's just watch it a little bit more of a train wreck. What time is it? It's after 7 o'clock here. So you guys should watch your Rachel Maddow. In the meantime, oh, you know what? I don't even have it set up. I've switched from YouTube TV to Sling. I don't have it set up on my computer yet. Maybe I do. Give me a moment. Sling.com. It's much cheaper, and I get the tennis channel. But the recording capabilities are still sketchy. Let's just see if it comes in here. It's apparently a little bit slower because it's not coming up. Oh, you know what? In the last few days, I've been so busy, I have completely missed out on all the UFO talk. I'm fascinated by it, and I can't believe that when the footage was released in the last couple of years, this hasn't been what everybody's been talking about. We were so distracted by everything else happening in the world that we're not talking about the fact that apparently there's a bunch of UFOs out there. All right, well, I was going to share some stuff with you guys, but I guess I don't know why Sling is not watching now. Let me try it again. Oh, now it comes in. All right. Well, I have an account, so go ahead. Yes? I'm signing in, guys. I'll see if it works. Give me a second here. And it's loading. And watch now. How about that? What if I just... Okay, so this is definitely not as intuitive as YouTube TV, which I always call Yahoo TV because I'm old school. But it is coming in, and now it's just circling. So, yeah, I guess we're done. I have a lot of stuff to do anyway. So, guys, it's been great. And thank you for letting me know about this, Marcy. Marcy, this is all thanks to you. Thanks to the judges. You're great. It's called gerrymandering to the judges. Stephanie says, I get so frustrated with Sling, I can't just watch things continuously. It stops it after one show is finished. I think you may be right. I don't know. I think if you're watching it off the guide, it just continues on. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Anyway, it's up and running right now. Hold on, let me pull it over and see what we can do with it. Boom. Hannity, thank you everyone for not mentioning the hockey playoffs. Okay, show it. Okay, is this 5:18? Here it is. Hannity, watch. Right. Okay, make it full screen, and let's see if this actually works. This is a test
Great
of
Sean
Sling.
Hannity from New York. All right, Tucker, great show as always.
Great show as always.
Thank you, and welcome to Hannity.
Okay.
Tonight, we're tracking multiple major stories, including a bombshell new report on the corrupt Biden family syndicate business that goes way beyond Ukraine, Kazakhstan, China, and everything we already knew. Now, we have newly unearthed emails.
They were business plans from Hunter Biden. Plans that actually never came to fruition. I don't even know a thing about this, but I can tell you that's what they are.
That show that zero experience Hunter Biden was making.
He didn't have zero experiences. He was an actual trained lawyer. He was in the military as a lawyer. He was on the board of several large corporations, including Amtrak. He was a lawyer. He had an investment firm, more than I've ever done.
Plans to get his own father a piece of the pie, and it looks like Joe had to know. More coming up.
He discussed plans for a business that would include Joe Biden.
Also tonight, we'll have the lowlights from Biden's big trip to Michigan. At one point...
Dude, this is Biden actually driving, not sitting in a truck and making faces and noises. Actually driving right off the line one of the new Ford electric trucks. That's the electric pickup called the Lightning from Ford. And Biden released the information, which he probably wasn't supposed to do, but he's a car guy. He released the information that that thing can do 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, and he did it. He burned that puppy right off the line. It was great to watch. But this apparently is a low light. We have Trump, who we never saw actually driving a vehicle while in office, to Joe Biden. I'm getting behind that thing and I'm driving it.
Well, a very irritable Joe Biden gets behind the wheel of a truck and threatens to run over a reporter. Imagine if Donald Trump did.
Imagine him then just saying, I'm just teasing, which he did. He did not threaten the reporter.
That. But anyway, Joe probably is very tired. He was out today. One of the few times he leaves the White House. I'm sure he's already taken.
Leaves the White House quite often.
In his warm milky and his sippy cup, got his night-night and bed.
Dude, look at him. He is full of vim and vigor. Or as Trump would say, viver. He peeled that thing. They're not showing it where he peeled it off the line. I hope they do.
Time story and is sound asleep. But first thing tonight.
He's not sleeping there at all. He is driving that thing 0 to 60, burning it off the line.
We begin. I have a message for Chucky Schumer. Now, recently, he tells an online publication, quote,
here we go.
Oh, the thing.
Media mob.
The thing. Our U.S. Constitution.
Let's go back. Oh, here we go.
And then threaten to run over a reporter.
Go back. Are you going to show him peeling out or not?
One of the rare trips out of the White House. I'm sure he's very tired.
Okay, so they don't show him actually peeling out, which is the cool part.
He took an electric truck for a test drive and then threatened to run over a reporter for asking too many questions.
He threatened the reporter before the test drive. Okay.
Questions. How dare you ask a question? I need permission to answer questions. Take a look.
Mr. President, how fast?
This is before, and let's see if he gets it off the line. You know, does he hit the accelerator? Because he goes a little bit forward to get away from the reporter, which, by the way, is smart. He's in this gaggle of reporters. That's what it is. And he pulls forward and then stops. Here we go. And the reporters apparently heard him say, like, holy beep, this is fast, as he was, because it is. Electric cars have one hell of a kick.
were you going?
Well, okay, I'm just going to step on it. I'll come off at 80 miles an hour. You'll see what it is, okay? You ready?
Mr. President, can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive away?
No, you
since it's so
can't.
important?
Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it. I'm only teasing. Okay, here.
He's only teasing. It was a weird tease, but yeah, he was only teasing and he corrected himself right away and there was some nervous laughter in there. It was weird to say, but he didn't actually threaten the reporter. He was only teasing. But oh my God, the outrage. Imagine if he was wearing a tan suit.
Here we go.
Imagine
Show it!
the feigned moral outrage from
We don't have to imagine the feigned moral outrage. It's happening right now on screen, Hannity.
the media if it was Donald Trump. Joe Biden, he always gets a pass. First it was the candidate.
Really? Because that story that you're talking about right now, that's the pass? Literally what you just showed on screen? And not the cool part of him peeling the tires.
Candidate protection program, now it's the presidential protection program. Gets a pass on everything, especially the obvious, his ongoing, well, cognitive struggles and weakness. Every week we see more and more evidence that Joe Biden, frail, weak, irritable, frequently confused.
Yeah, he was just peeling out in an electric pickup truck. That says frail to me.
And every week the media simply ignores it. Here are just a few examples from just the past 2 days. Take a look.
Yeah. What do we got?
And Rashid Tlaib, where's Rashid? I tell you what, Rashid, I want to say to you that...
He called her Rashid instead of Rashida. Honestly, I didn't know that her full name was Rashida. I get called Kev. Remember the former guy called Kevin McCarthy, Steve McCarthy. He called Tim Cook, Tim Apple. He called our favorite Matt Gaetz, called him Rick Gates 5 times. But yeah, calling Rashid, somehow cognitive dissonance.
I admire your intellect. You know, I think some people think I'm too proud of what the United States always did. Our own.
You know, I think some people are too, what's the right word for that? Proud. How is that?
Department of too proud.
Let's go back here.
I think some people think I'm too proud of what the United States always did. Our own.
How? That's what they've got? Because he paused to get the right word when discussing his feelings for our country and how proud of it he is? They've got nothing!
Department of Energy pioneered and transformed the battery injury when Barack and I were in office. This is all the AstraZeneca vaccine produced in the United States, all of it, 4 months ago.
Yeah, slip of the tongue. Why didn't he say Moderna? Why isn't he talking about the Moderna vaccine or the Pfizer?
It was an audacious goal that we had to put 1 million shots in the arms in my first 100 days as president.
Oh, he got it wrong. It's better than saying 1,000,000, which is what the old guy said.
100 million, I should say.
Okay, he corrected it. He corrected it. He is cognizant of what he's saying.
Joe? Oh, her name is Rashida, not Rashid.
Can you call her Rashid? Am I way off on this, guys? Do some people call her Rashi? Rash? Rashid? Hold on. You know what? We can probably look that up. Rashida nickname. Okay. It's Arabic, It means righteous or wise, knows her own way, mature, and of true faith. That's a lot of meaning to one name. Nicknames for Rashida. Rashid, Rashi, Sheeta, Ida, Rash, Rashu. Smart is also listed as a nickname. But okay, yeah, no. But the fact that he said that he was proud of what the United States has always been able to do. Why have we not impeached this codger? That was it. He drove. Okay, so now it's about AOC around the world with Hunter. You know that at some point Trump got Rashida's name wrong. I think that's about it. I don't think we need to cover anything else here. Jim Jordan, Wisconsin idiot. Yeah, we don't have to go there. This does not update as quickly as YouTube TV, but again, it's one hell of a lot cheaper than YouTube TV right now. And it lets me get the NHL network, which YouTube TV doesn't have at all. So YouTube TV, you want me back? I'd love to come running back to your open arms. Give me more choices. Let me choose a package, and then let me have the NHL channel. Oh, and what else? Well, you used to have the tennis channel, and you got rid of that too. Got to have my tennis channel, especially with the French Open coming up, because I cannot sit through the commercials in a tennis match. Anyway, the point of the story is I won my tennis match on Saturday because my partner's great. Richard is his name, but I've never met him before because I used to have long hair and I don't remember. Okay, guys. Oh, you're getting the death circles? We're getting great connection, so that's on your end, Stephanie. Stephanie, hopefully you can see this because I'm about to say goodbye to everybody. So everybody have a great night. We'll probably talk tomorrow. Tomorrow's another big day. I am netsing again tomorrow. So right now I got to go do some voiceover stuff, and I have to work out because I ate almost an entire hamburger from Jack in the Box today on my way to the airport to pick up Kevinly's daughter. She's home. We're happy. Everything is good. Life is wonderful, except that President Biden paused reflectively when he said he was proud of everything the United States is always able to accomplish. My God, what are we going to do as a nation? That's it. America's done.